Some people are just built different. You and I? We stub our toe on the bed frame, we're out for the count. But then there are people who make death itself look like an unpaid intern. Meet the women who simply refuse to die. Shot, poisoned, shipwrecked, blown up, and still alive. You'd think this was a Marvel backstory. Nope. This is actual history. So buckle in, because if you thought Final Destination was fiction, these women lived it, and won. Let's start with Violet Jessop, aka Miss Unsinkable. She was a nurse and stewardess who somehow became the Titanic's least enthusiastic repeat customer. First, she was aboard the RMS Olympic in 1911 when it collided with a warship. Massive damage. She survived. Then in 1912, she boarded the Titanic. Yeah, that Titanic. She lived through the sinking, crammed into a lifeboat, while 1,500 others didn't make it. Horrifying, right? Surely after that, she'd never get on a ship again? Wrong. 1916. She's working on the Britannic, the Titanic's sister ship. A mine blows it apart. The ship sinks. She gets sucked under, cracks her skull on the keel, and still survives. That's 3 major maritime disasters in 5 years. The average person avoids car accidents by not jaywalking. Violet avoided death on ships by getting back on them over and over. I don't know if that's bravery or just pure cosmic trolling. Next up, Mariya Vasilyevna Oktyabrskaya, a woman so metal she turned grief into literal firepower. When her husband, a Soviet officer, was killed in World War II, she didn't just cry and move on. She wrote to Stalin himself, asking to fight. But not just as a soldier. She wanted her own tank. And Stalin, being Stalin, said, "Sure, why not?" So Mariya sold all her possessions, donated the money to the war effort, and in return, got a T-34 tank she named Fighting Girlfriend, which is the most "don't mess with me" name in military history. She drove that thing straight into battle, fixed it under fire, shot Nazis personally. When she was wounded, she came back again. Death gave her multiple invitations, and she RSVP'd with, "Nah, busy killing fascists." Then there's Krystyna Skarbek, a Polish spy for the Allies. Captured by the Gestapo, tortured, and interrogated, she laughed in their faces, literally. She faked tuberculosis by biting her own tongue until she bled, convinced them she was contagious, and got released. She went right back to spying, organized jailbreaks, smuggled intelligence, survived gunfights, and after the war, she casually worked as a stewardess like nothing ever happened. Honestly, she lived life like death was just an annoying coworker she avoided at the office. History is full of women who just refuse to stay dead. Frain Salak's female counterpart stories include women who survived multiple plane crashes. Soviet sniper Lyudmila Pavlichenko, called Lady Death, survived more than 300 confirmed kills and countless brushes with death at the front lines. And then there's basically every female nurse in World War II, dodging bombs daily while patching up soldiers like it was just Tuesday. The common theme? Everyone else dies, they just respawn with more side quests. So here's the big question. Why do some people seem impossible to kill? Is it genetics? Pure dumb luck? Or are some people just running life with cheat codes enabled? If Violet Jessop's ships had fully sunk with her on them, if Mariya's tank had been hit 1 second earlier, if Krystyna hadn't tricked her captors, history might have lost them. And yet, here we are telling their stories. Makes you wonder how many times history got bent by people who simply refused to die when they were supposed to. So yeah, some people dodge death like it's a bad Tinder date. Violet Jessop outswam the Titanic. Mariya Oktyabrskaya outfought Nazis with her own tank. Krystyna Skarbek outbluffed the Gestapo. Most of us get nervous crossing the street. These women treated death like a casual inconvenience, and it proves the brain-warped point yet again. Real life is always stranger, scarier, and way more badass than fiction.